Hello, everyone, and welcome to Variant Roles. I am your host and game master, Dan Gaston. Oh, sorry, I had my Twitch app not muted and was getting that feedback, and it threw me off. So, welcome to Project VHS here on Variant Roles. I am at MadsIDM on Twitter. I use he/him pronouns, and I am excited to come to you live with episode 3, the entry of Project VHS. So, first things first, let's go around and reacquaint ourselves with our players and their characters. And I will start in the upper left for me with Anders.
You want to do
Hello.
descriptions this time, since
Yes.
we've negated that for the last 2 sessions?
That's right. Please give, as well as your character sentence, give like a brief little physical description of your character as well.
Okay, I can do that. Hi, I'm Anders. You can find me at Anders_D_K on the internets, and I use he/him pronouns. Tonight I will be playing Takashi Hano, or Glitch, who also uses he/him pronouns. He's like a 5'9", Japanese heritage, dark eyes, slender build, and shockingly white hair. And he is a weird adept who rides the lightning.
Excellent. All right. Continuing down the left-hand side of our overlay, we have Val.
Hi everybody, I'm Val. I'm the Nerdy Niffler on the Twitters. I use she/her pronouns, and tonight I'm playing Natasha Kane, aka Longshot, who also uses she/her pronouns. She is a tall, because I am a small, so I leap at the chance to play talls. She's tall, lean, just looks like she can lift things. I'm so bad at this. She is of Korean and Russian heritage, and she has this long, bright red hair. Don't worry about it, everything's fine. And she is a... Why did they put me on this show? She is a mysterious she's a mysterious explorer who bears a halo of fire. I will be leaving now. Farewell.
I think everyone's going to need you. All right. Continue around with Emma.
Hello. I am I'm Emma. I use she/her pronouns, and you can find me at MK Hansen on Twitter. Okay, and tonight I am Billy Lawless, who is a mystical adept who explores dark places. God's almighty. All right, Billy. Billy she's like about 5'7", I think. And she has like a pretty like medium frame. She's often covered in just like dark clothing, like to the point where like she doesn't even really show her face that much. You will never really see her skin except for her hands or part of her face. When she does have her hood down, she has like very like dark black and brown hair that's short. She has like a pretty soft face, like soft facial features. And she is very strange and very awkward. So if she stands kind of awkwardly, she'll shift awkwardly. I'm not sure what else to say about her. She's a weird one. And she often has rubber duckies on her.
Yes. Okay, perfect. And can we also just comment on how fabulous your lighting is in your room?
Thank you so much.
That lighting effect. I'm very jealous, and we're gonna have to talk later because
yeah.
I'm looking at doing some. I want to do some lighting in here.
Hell yeah, I got you.
Yeah. All right. All right. So continuing our generally counterclockwise rotation, we come to Quinn.
Yes, hello, this is Quinn. I'm Quintastic _ on Twitter. I use she, her pronouns. And tonight I will be playing Dr. Mesli Flores, a perceptive speaker who calculates the incalculable, everyone's favorite ship psychiatrist and med tech. Everyone loves Mesli. She's the best, the most likable character. Nothing suspicious. She is actually kind of build-wise, she's kind of unassuming. She's like 5'5" and like curvy, very like Mexican af. So me, TBH. Big curly hair that's normally up in some elaborate bun or whatever. I forgot what I was describing and almost just started dropping secrets. Because they're on my brain. She is the average. Hair, she wears weird makeup, as you can see from the everything about me. And likes she's just a med tech. It's not a big deal.
All right, perfect. Well, beyond a med tech, she's officially the medical officer of this expedition. I don't know how a psychologist became the
psychiatry. So
psychiatry,
I have both.
Sorry. That's right. That's right. You are certified.
The other guy wasn't good enough, so they got me.
That's right. What happened to him? We don't know. As Natasha would say, don't worry about it. All right. Continuing up, we have Maria.
Well, hello. I'm Maria. I use she, they pronouns. You can find me at Happy Capster on Twitter. And today I will be portraying Eva Delgado, who uses she, her pronouns. Eva is kind of slender build, roughly 5'8" or so. Very full, wavy Puerto Rican hair that's fairly long. She does usually wear it down, although sometimes she will just have it kind of half tied up. Has fairly wide brim glasses, such as myself, and looks a bit like Tessa Thompson, the Valkyrie from Thor, a little bit. And also almost always wears this necklace, which you can't see very well, but it has a couple of gears, like a small jawbone, and a small little vial. In the like years that you've seen her, she's never taken it off.
Perfect. So
and she's an inquisitive explorer who would rather be reading. Also that.
Excellent.
Cipher.
Yes. And as Valkyrie from Thor Ragnarok, like everybody loves her because she's just the best.
I'm the best, and also the saddest. Well, Billy might also be. Everyone's sad. We're all sad and in space.
Do you want to talk about it?
We did talk about it.
The side scenes make it obvious that this show would slot in nicely on the CW.
I feel like 99% of the shows that we put on VR would fall into the CW.
That's right. All right, and last but certainly not least, we have Taryn.
I thought it was going to work. I tried to hit the space bar and I hadn't done anything with it. Anyway, I'm Taryn. Me and my boy Marcus Hatsey both use he, him pronouns. I am playing Marcus Hatsey, the security officer on this vessel, who's just trying not to get anybody killed and just make sure everybody gets out alive. He is a tongue-tied warrior who needs no weapon, which means his fists are very, very powerful. They hit like heavy weapons, so. But
ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm actually
he literally hits like a sledgehammer.
I'm gonna take this is just my next plan, but there's a warrior thing that gives you another +1 to damage. So I'm gonna have him doing 9 damage just because, you know. Anyway. But yeah, so Marcus is about 6'2", 6'3", very broad shoulders, well defined, has spent his entire life pretty much training and in combat. So he's built like that. Graying a little bit on the beard and like sort of short-ish wavy hair. He hasn't been on a military mission for a long time, so it's a little unkempt, but yeah, silver wolf, silver fox situation. But yeah, also very large hands. Sort of Greek descent. That's where the last name comes from. So yeah, pretty quiet, pretty not very good at talking. So yeah, it's Marcus. So
All right, perfect. All right, and Val has volunteered to give us the little recap about last session.
So let me tell you about the space egg we found. We arrived. UNS Erebus arrived, and we found an alien craft vessel. We're not too sure yet. It is the same one that had been sending out the signal that we've been following that led us here. We tried a couple of things to communicate, including sending the signal back, where it pinged us around to Mars, Earth, and I think another point in the system. Completely super far away.
The other side of the galaxy.
Other side of the galaxy, so really super duper far away. And then after some working out, we realized, or Billy realized, an inverted triangle may be the way to go. And sure enough, the egg basically said, "Come on in," by putting out a landing pad for us to go to. Some of us were all in favor of going straight away, and then others said maybe we should think about this and prepare and not just drive straight into a supernatural egg. So we waited a few days, we got our wits together, and we headed towards the space egg, flew through a little bit of turbulence and static because there's some residual energy coming off the alien spacecraft. And we managed to land on this pad, and then everything started to descend into this kind of well of darkness all around us. And then Dan ended the session. And I really want to know what's happening in this well.
Yeah, you sort of went down this weird throat-like structure and ended at the top, the top, but the big part of an inverted pyramid inside the egg. And that's where we left off. So we're going to pick that up, but first, the opener. All right. Welcome back, everybody. So, when we left off, the shuttlecraft from the UNS Erebus, on which you are all on, had gone on this landing pad, sliding down this throat-like ribbed structure into the interior of the object, now affectionately being known as the egg or the space egg, until it came to rest finally in the hollow interior, or mostly hollow interior, of this egg-like structure. You can see out of the windshield of the shuttle large, massive struts. This egg object is larger than Earth's moon, so it's a very large, almost dwarf planet-sized thing, and it's hollow in the interior. But these large superstructures seem to twist through the space. But where you have come to rest is on an utterly flat, black plane. And as you were lowered in, you could see that it's connected, narrowing down as this large, multi-leveled, inverted pyramid. Almost as if someone had taken the Great Pyramid from Earth, scaled it up until it is larger. It's flat, dead black, and turned upside down. And your ship came to rest just on the exterior of this base. And the interior of this egg-like structure has a faint light. Motes of sort of blue and silver light sort of drift through the space, providing this low-level illumination. And there's also a heavy mist and fog, some sort of atmosphere. Based on your sensors, it seems to be heavy on ammonia and methane. It's not breathable, at least by you, but you have your ship, your suits on. And as you rest on this like flat black plane, a little bit of light sort of illuminates as you see a rectangle of light start to appear in the very center of this surface that you rest upon, as a bit of the material lowers like a ramp leading into the pyramid, but faintly outlined and illuminated. What do you do?
It's a runway. We do what we must do. We strut.
We vogue. Oh God, here's music.
Oh no.
Something's wrong.
Mood.
I am in fact broken.
I feel like canonically we're all just kind of staring and not knowing what to do.
And we'll just go, oh, that's ominous.
We should go. Probably.
That's what we're here for, isn't it?
Now everybody just take some deep breaths. Let's do some breathing together. Yeah?
Okay, let's go.
Okay.
I will follow.
I will also follow, but as I passed Metzley, I'll just kind of breach kind of slowly and just for a brief moment just like place a hand on like the edge of her shoulder and then continue on.
I'll nod and follow.
What is the protocol here, Mr. Marcus? Do you go at the front, keep us all safe? You and Kane make a science person sandwich?
We'll talk protocol once we're off the shuttle. Go ahead, Glitch.
All right, I'll go.
All right.
I will exit the shuttle.
Yeah.
I mean, I will exit this shuttle.
Ah!
Follow and we've got our suits on, I'm sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna get off and start unloading people's packs and handing them to the scientists.
So one of the first strange things you notice as you exit out of the shuttle, and probably even as you moved into the interior of this space, of course, you know, when you're in the shuttle, going between the Erebus and the object, you were in 0G, right, in free fall. When you got close and landed on the surface, there was, you know, there's a light gravity. It's a bit more than, say, the Earth's moon, which is surprising, given not so much its size, but the fact that it's hollow, so it's not terribly dense. But as you moved into the interior, the force of gravity actually increased. And as you landed and settled on this inverted pyramid, you're operating under almost Earth normal gravity, which is extremely unusual and not what you would expect to naturally happen.
I would like to see if I can get a scan going, see if there's any not like direct communication, but like feedback or noise or some sign of life or energy here within where we have found ourselves.
Sure. So when you bust out your sensors and just general, they all start lighting up. The amount of electromagnetic signal and radiation that's permeating this space is massive. Like basically everything is going off the scales, as if it would be similar to compare it to something for us. You know, if you were dropped in the middle of a zone where you're picking up like every single like radio and TV broadcast on the planet is just sort of like hitting this one area. So like when I talk about the EM radiation, it's just like all this signal. Some of it is probably radiation. So you're also picking up like just radiation. You're in space. Nothing dangerous, nothing that your suits can't handle. But there is also almost signal level strength as well. But it's just like off the charts. It's almost like what you detected outside was like leakage, because it was much more toned down compared to what you're picking up now.
Okay, I will keep monitoring it for a couple minutes as we get settled, get everything out equipment-wise.
Okay.
Did we establish what else was in this space besides what we landed on and the ominous ramp? So who knows where?
Yeah, all you could really see would be, you know, within a certain range, and like there would be what you were picking up off of, like say radar and things like that. It's almost like imagine if you took this egg-like structure and filled it with like beams at like all sorts of weird angles, right? And so like they're crisscrossing and all of that.
It's the maze.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
that's
it's
cool.
like that.
Excellent.
How's this radiation affecting our equipment?
It's probably giving you a little bit of feedback. Your short range, like radio communication, is okay because your suits are within like basically visual unobstructed range from one another. You suspect if this keeps up, that if you were separated by any distance, or you also had to contend with like interior structure of this pyramid, you might have some difficulties communicating if you got too separated from anyone. And Frankie notifies you that due to the signal intensity, you do not have communication with Erebus.
Oh, that's fine.
Does anyone else get a sense of just astound comfort from that message, or just me?
I feel really good right now. I feel good about this.
Whilst they're unloading things, I'm going to, if I can, walk around and try and just draw whatever I can see to try and build a map of where we are.
I'm gonna do the similar thing.
Everybody
Maps
stay
and
in
see what
eyesight.
happens.
Please stay in eyesight. I don't want to start this out losing people, please.
Yeah, and so from the top of this, like where you are, you can basically see the entrance to that like tower type structure that would lead, basically like an elevator kind of, that would lead back to the outside of the object. There's this pyramid that, you're just standing on the flat base of. And then otherwise it's these crisscrossing superstructures, but they're like very far away, right? Because this is massive scales. We're talking, small planetary scales. So at a certain point, you can just see these like looming shapes in the fog and dark of the distance, and that's kind of it. And so it actually feels kind of empty. There's a lot of very cavernous space.
I assume we went in like kind of separate directions, and I think after a moment I'll radio to Kane and say, I don't think I'm gonna be able to really get anything.
Me neither. It's just... scope is way too big. Have you ever seen anything like this before?
A giant space egg filled with lattice work? No, I can't say that I have.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna head back to the others. And I do so.
So, the way is there a way back up if we didn't have a shuttle?
Possibly. You sort of came down sort of on this like platform, almost like you landed and then got like elevator down in, and that hasn't gone back up. So that's kind of connected. Conceivably, like when you take a look at it, it would be a super long climb, but you could potentially climb back up. But then getting from there to the Erebus is basically...
I'm going to take a quick look around, just make sure nobody's within earshot. And then I'm just going to speak out into the darkness. Okay, creepy ass space egg or not, you put one scratch on my shuttle and I swear to God I will wreck everything inside of here. And then I will return.
The egg declines to answer.
Good.
All right. This is what we've trained for. But obviously, there's a lot of unknowns here still. I'm going to take point. Kane, you're going to watch the 6. there's anything you want to stop and see, you notify the entire group on comms, and we all stop, we all break, and we stay in formation. You do not let anybody out of eyesight. You do not wander off. I repeat, you do not wander off. I can't get you home safe if you wander off.
Which one of us are you talking to?
All of you.
I that just felt very pointed, so I just wanted to see which direction you were pointing.
You.
Fair enough.
I have mentioned this before, but I'm going to get you all home safe. Okay? That usually deserves a copy. Copy?
Sure.
Yes.
Copy.
Copy that.
Okay.
Thank you.
If we get separated, protocol, word, flare.
Flares, try comms repeatedly, save power, and stay in one place.
Usually I'm an advocate for that plan, but I think staying in one place, I don't know if this will let us stay in particularly one place.
Well, it's harder to find you if you move. Of course, like you said, unknown, so... But...
Let's feel it out.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes.
All right.
And assume hostilities, please.
Kane points to Billy. He's like, she's not gonna do that.
And Marcus just sort of sighs and nods. Like, there's an understanding there.
And I'm just like,
I would try to catch Billy's eye and just be like, "This time. Not this time."
All right. So as you make your way across, the surface of this, like, or at least the outer surface of this inverted pyramid, is some sort of alloy material with properties between metal and glass, and it reflects a little bit these floating motes of light that provide dim illumination, as well as the light off of, assuming you've got, like, lights on your flashlights on your suits. And you can't really hear anything, but there's like a faint vibration as your boots clomp across it. And it's smooth down through this ramp leading deep into the interior. And then as that sort of levels out onto the topmost layer of this inverted pyramid, the substance begins to change from this metallic, glassy substance to a flat, dark black, stone-like substance in a vaguely like cyclopean architectural style. So it's these large, fitted blocks. Each of these blocks are taller than a person, large stones, probably 12 by 12 feet, that are fitted together. And it terminates at an archway. And the archway has these two columnar structures that sort of bow over and meet at the top. And they're vaguely sort of plant-like, and they're clearly made of stone, of the same stone, and carved. And there are sort of tendril-type structures wrapped all around it, and they sort of bud off in little protuberances periodically. And on the other side of the gateway is a large cavernous space filled with more of these columns with similar appearance that disappear into darkness above, and just this mist floating around similar to the outside of this methane and ammonia atmosphere.
I forgot to say, as we've been doing this and walking, I've been mapping our route so we know which way to go back.
Yeah, it's straight so far.
So far, Dan.
That's right.
So, I know none of us have forgotten, but it seems like maybe an extra reminder might not be totally out of place. Tentacle things are friendly, but maybe not friendly in the sense that we want to be friendly with them. So, no touchy?
No touchy.
Yes, Glitch, please don't touch tentacles.
I'm not the one with the history of touching tentacles.
Everyone looks at Billy.
I'm looking at
What?
the pillars. I don't want to touch them, but I do want to get close.
Yeah. So you want to examine them. You, of course, have a background in architectural styles of the
Me?
ancient human world, but also of the ruins found on Mars. And I'd say, like, before we roll, there are vague similarities to some of the things that you have seen. Obviously, this like Cyclopean architecture has been seen in multiple human civilizations in the ancient past. It doesn't look exactly like any of them, but there's a faint similarity there. And some of the motifs in this like sort of twisting tendril kind of decoration, and the fact that everything is heavily carved in this like relief carving mode, so like everything is carved and textured and three-dimensional, except the places where it is bare, like where you came in. So it's this sharp contrast. But that sort of tentacle style is similar, not identical, but similar to the ruins that were found on Mars.
Cool.
Dr. Delgado, did you let the group know before you stopped and looked?
Honestly, no. No, I did not. First spacewalk.
Did we notice Delgado leaving the group to go examine these?
Well, so if you walk through the archway, right, you would walk by them into the archway, and then if you went to the ones in the room, they're all right there. So
Okay.
yeah, it's not like not like anyone would have to have left the group really, or
Not
gone
going out of
far
the
to
way.
see them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Dr. Delgado stopping. Let's hold up for a moment.
I'm going to just kind of give the archway a once over and then try to catch Billy's eye and then very quietly say, "Abandon all hope, all ye who enter here."
I will also give them a once over, and I will turn to Metzli and just kind of give her this look of fuck, and then look back at the pillars, and then like take her notebook out and start like sketching them.
Same.
You know, Dr. Metzli. So, I heard that a lot when I was growing up.
Did you?
And no, I don't want to talk about it.
We can talk about it later. Sure.
Sorry, you go.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say, there's any, because it's like a rock formation, what the pillars are carved out of. Are they? Do I recognize them at all?
So everything is constructed. This is like very, very obviously made. The walls are these like large fitted stone blocks, and all of these columns are intricately carved. if you look up, they kind of disappear above you because the ceiling appears to be quite high, plus like shrouded in this like foggy, thick atmosphere, both above and below you, like around your feet and near the ceiling. But nothing immediately leaps to mind, other than there's some vague similarities like large stone, and the fact these look kind of like a lot of carved tendril type structures wrapped around these pillars. It makes them look vaguely vine-like or plant-like.
Also, when you said they're above and below you, my brain flashed back to Billy going, as above, so below, and we're doing great. This is fine.
This is fine. I would communicate with the rest of the group. These are the structures we found on Mars. Well, it's kind of. So that's good, I guess.
I think upon hearing that, I would get closer to Eva, and I would kind of like lean in and just say, remember, no assumptions.
Right.
Can I use my scanner to try to get a readout on the dimensions of the space we're in? Like, see if it can figure out, how high up the ceiling is, how tall these pillars are. Just kind of map that out.
Yeah, sure. So why don't this will be an intellect-based task. I'm going to set the challenge here is relatively low, at like a 4, because there's some interference and things like that hinder it. And your instruments can provide an asset to mapping in this case. So that will reduce it 2 steps, actually. It's a good asset, so it reduces it to a challenge of 2. And do you have any particular skill that applies here?
This isn't really weird science or engineering, so no, I would say. Nothing
Engineering, I could see.
Okay. It is dimensions and...
Yeah, it's like, because you're essentially drafting. Are you trained or specialized in engineering?
I believe I'm specialized, but that's ship engineering, specifically.
Right. That's ship engineering. Yeah, okay, so that wouldn't apply. All right, so you're at a challenge of 2, and you can spend a level of effort from your intellect pool.
Which my effort is 2. Does that mean I can spend 2 effort from my intellect pool?
You can spend 2 levels of effort, yeah. So the first level of effort is 3 points. The second level of effort is another 2, so that's 5, and you subtract any edge that you have in intellect.
Okay. I'm only going to spend 1 level, and I have an edge of 1, so that's subtract 2, correct?
2, yep, so 2 points.
Okay.
So that reduces your challenge to a 1, so you only need a 3 or higher on your d20.
Well, I rolled a 4, so
perfect.
Thank goodness for that little bit of effort.
Yeah, so like basically these little like probes shoot out of your device and start sonar pinging like all over the room and collecting data that feeds back to your hand terminal. And it is indeed a large cavernous space. The ceiling is approximately like 70 feet high above you that these pillars fill. And the room is about the size of like half a football field. American football field, to be more comfortable for y'all. Canadian football field is slightly bigger. Yeah, so it's about that size, and there are indeed multiple like entrances or exit points that lead off of this room.
Sorry. What about the pillars themselves? Do they seem to reach all the way to the ceiling?
They do.
What's sort of their circumference?
Each pillar is identical in size.
Like they're disturbingly identical?
No, like precision engineering level,
Okay.
identical. Yeah. They're about a 9-foot diameter.
Okay.
And they taper a little bit, very slightly. So they're a little bit thinner at the top, but then sort of appear to like branch out in like a brachiated structure into the ceiling, which provides all these like ribbed vaulting on the ceiling.
Okay. I'm gonna try to save that readout on my scanner.
Yeah.
It's like a digital map of it.
Like imagine like a Gothic cathedral with those like ridged vaulting archways, but imagine that it's much more like if I say Baroque, and I don't mean the literal Baroque architecture, but how we have deviated that to just mean like overly embellished, right? It's like that. There's just so much detail.
My little architecture brain. My little
Mhm,
Glitch doesn't have it, but Anders is like,
Both myself and Eva do, so this is real cool.
let's go find some flying buttresses, y'all.
I was just teaching those earlier.
I take a step forward, and then I remember, and I say, class, I would like to go farther into this place if everyone is okay with that.
Is
Kind of
everyone
like
finished?
giving like a smirk over to Marcus.
Is everyone finished here? I need copies, not visuals. I need audios.
This is an
Copy.
audio copy.
Let's all just comply with our wonderful Mr. Marcus. Yes, copy. Thank you, Marcus.
Yeah, copy.
I'm assuming you're all basically just clustered within the entrance. Like you've taken
Yeah.
a few steps past the archway, and that's about it.
Makes it even better.
Move on in.
Copy.
I just start going.
Yeah, I go.
So where is anybody going? Basically, like you could go out along the walls, right, or just straight deeper into the room, like into the, we'll call it the forest of columns, because that's essentially what it is.
I would like to go straight into the forest of columns, please.
That has never
Okay.
gone badly for anyone.
Nope.
I'm gonna try to stick close to Delgado.
Okay.
Grandmother's house we go.
Yay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I think everyone's kind of sticking together and just going like deeper, like sort of straight into the center of the space. All right. So the columns are indeed dense, but it's kind of like one of those old growth European forests. You know, well tended, no underbrush. It's, you know, trees are well spaced. It's easy to walk between. Not our, you know, overgrown thickets that I walk through all the time. So you make your way easily sort of deeper in. It's relatively unchanging. There's the same general look to all of these columns as you go in until you get to the middle. And when you reach the middle, inlaid on the floor, which has been just this flat black, right? The columns, everything is basically the same. And so you get to the middle, and there's a pattern inlaid in the floor in like a red stone material contrasting against the black. And it is one of the symbols that had been sent back to you, the 9th symbol, after Natasha sort of sent her symbol and triggered it. I don't know if I'll be able to... No, that's not going to pick it up. It is one of the symbols that I sent to you and which I should have been smart enough to crop as images and drop into Roll20 so I could flash them up on the screen. But it is the one sort of two semicircles that are like perfectly matched up. There's a long two broken lines north-south, two small lines horizontally. There's basically like a circle with like a cross kind of in the middle, and a couple of triangular outgrowths around it.
Was it the last one that you sent us?
Yes. That's a good question. I'm saying it's the 9th. I don't know if it was the
you only
9th
sent
in
us
the sequence
8.
that I sent you.
Is it that one?
No.
Dang it. There's also that one.
It is...
Is it the one before that?
I think it's the one that looks like it has an eye in the center.
It's the one with... There's a plus sign in the very, very center.
No, the other one. The one that literally looks like an eyeball.
Oh. That's a plus sign in the center. Aha! This one?
Yes, that one.
Hey, there it is. Magic. Technology, folks.
Yikes.
Oofa doofa.
If Natasha sees that, she's probably going to stop walking.
Does this look familiar to anybody?
It's one of the ones
Well,
they sent back.
you would all recognize it because it was in that sequence of symbols.
Yeah, that was a rhetorical
sent
question.
back
Sorry.
from- okay, sorry.
That was a rhetorical.
No, I've never
in-character
seen this
question.
before in my life.
Who are you people?
Is this one of those don't cross the seal situations and we probably shouldn't walk on it?
We can find out.
I don't know if this is the time to... We have a long way to go, I think. Don't think we need to start pushing buttons now.
Maybe we walk around. Do we know what this symbol means? I kind of look at Kane, actually, because Kane's the one who sent the first signal to the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've kind of pulled out a notebook and I'm sketching it as I'm doing now.
Honestly, no idea.
Val, can I intrude here?
Oh, yes, please do.
So take mark an XP, and you can choose to give 1 XP to somebody else.
Oh no. Who needs XP?
Everybody!
Anyone put a hand up?
Dan, why would you do this to the British lady?
I volunteer as tribute.
I'm sorry, but that was the funniest shit. And give it to someone else. Oh no!
Oh no!
The most difficult choice.
It is the most you got. Like you risk the social faux pas.
Just
Dan.
roll for it. Just roll
Yeah,
for it.
Just roll a d6.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna do that. You're gonna do 6. Okay.
Determine who's one or yeah.
Die here.
Glitch, you get an XP.
Oh! Okay, thank you!
You're welcome.
All right. So
Someone clip that for me, please. I'm gonna watch that forever.
I'm embarrassed to admit I don't really know how to properly set up and do clips. One of these days. So, Natasha, as you're sort of staring at this symbol, you had, when they came back to you, and they're tied to this original symbol that you have that you don't even, that's shrouded in mystery all its own. But there was this, like, faint tingling of unease and some level of recognition. Sort of like the hairs on the back of your neck stood up when this stream of signals came in the other day. And as you're staring at this, you have that feeling again as if every hair on your body is like lifting up of its own accord, this faint electrical charge. And then you have a quick sort of flashback bit of memory that comes into your brain. And you see a hunched figure, like an old man, long stringy hair hanging over their face, and they're in a dark room, and you're looking at them from an unusual angle, as if you're laying down, but you're not flat, you're at some sort of angle. And all you can see is there's like wreaths of incense and smoke rising around this person, and they're grinding something in a bowl in a mortar and pestle, and then dipping an old-fashioned pen into this bowl, and like leaning forward over you and like tracing out something and sort of repeating this. And as you glance down, you see this this exact same symbol being drawn on like a smock that is on your like covering you, like basically just like a coverall sort of thing, right? And it's being inked on. It's like a paint-like substance that's red being drawn on. And then that's like the only sort of comes out of it.
No one touch it.
I don't think any of us were planning to.
Don't go near it. Don't touch it. Don't walk. Just walk away from it. Walk away from it.
What did that look like for the rest of us?
Right, yeah.
Probably like nothing at all. Just like she paused, staring at it momentarily. Given that she's in a spacesuit and stuff, you probably didn't really notice anything.
Kane, are you feeling okay, Kane?
Fine. Just odd symbol in the ground. Makes sense, doesn't it? Hatsy, we should move on.
All right. Everyone circle around.
Is this clarifying question out of character? Was this the last symbol we received?
Yes. Yeah, the 9th.
I wonder if these are markers.
You thinking levels glitch?
Levels or trail markers or a map. I mean, this place is massive. Giving us some sign of direction on where to go wouldn't have been a terrible idea on Egg's part.
How many of these did we get?
9?
Including my one.
Yeah, there was 8 sent back, and 9 sent back, but the first one was the exact same one that Natasha had sent.
And the one that Natasha sent, was it just like a circle? It was like a dot with like 2 circles around it, right? It was just like super simple.
Oh, it's in the
it's the one.
Oh, yeah. Right. Got it. I remember now.
And someone said something about all ye who enter here. That just feels a little foreboding. 9.
Oh. And does a giant egg on the edge of the solar system not seem foreboding?
That's fair. All right, everyone, let's move out.
While we're walking, Billy is gonna I'm not. I feel like we're all just like moving kind of like a turtle right now.
Mhm. That's protocol. It's protocol, Billy. Don't break protocol on me. Please break protocol.
What's protocol? Billy will get just a little bit closer to Natasha. Can we still? We can't communicate with the ship, but our comms are working with one another. And are we still able to have single channel comms so that other people wouldn't hear it? But
Yep, there's a general open comm that goes to everybody, but you can absolutely do a direct.
okay, so I'm gonna directly message Kane, and just say, Natasha, are you okay?
Ducky.
So Billy will. Is Kane up in the lead? She's up front, right?
Oh, I'm back.
Oh, okay. Then I will move just slightly and position myself between Natasha and, like, if we're moving around the rune on the floor, I'm gonna position myself between Natasha and the rune, and I'm gonna just lean into her just ever so slightly.
Natasha is going to lean ever so slightly back, and at this point, with this close, Billy can probably feel that her entire body is kind of just shaking.
I think, like, with Natasha's consent, I will reach over and, like, squeeze her hand gently and then let go of it.
When you squeeze her hand, she'll just squeeze it back. And still shaking, but it calms her a little bit. Just can't hear, bad, need to be away.
Over the comms, I think that I would say, I think we should pick up the pace.
You were saying that to everyone?
Yeah. That was everybody.
Okay. Let's double time.
All right. So you basically just like cutting through to like the direct opposite
The other
side.
end, yeah.
Yeah, like Glitch would have, like, the room is vaguely is square. And there is a number of exits and entrances that go off of it. Like we talked about before we went live, like, we're going to do mapping as you go. There's a lot of this is procedurally generated. So you can pick basically any random exit. Doesn't really matter.
Logically speaking, the most direct path is a straight line, right?
Absolutely. Maybe.
Depending on where you're going.
Probably not in here.
According to Earth logic.
But Marcus does not have egg military training. He has Earth military training. So
Hey, there it is.
Is the space Euclidean? We'll find out.
probably not.
All right. So, as you cut across to the other side, you also, like, then are coming up, approaching the wall, which you hadn't really done any sort of extensive investigations of the walls on the other side. But you do notice as you're approaching this other side and can see it, that the... Val. How do I... There we go. All right. Yes, that does it for all of us. It's okay, Val. So, as you approach the other side, you can see that it is heavily carved.
What is it carved like?
So as you start to approach and get sort of a better look at it, it appears to be heavily carved with repeating themes that show familiar-looking figures, Eva. You have the most direct... Everyone has had some experience in seeing the mummified alien remains and fossilized remains from Mars. And you had a very recent flashback to these creatures in a more intact and fleshy state. Although still hidden, you mostly saw them in shadow relief. But these are lifelike, life-size carvings of the creatures, fossilized remains found on Mars, but in the flesh. So they are tall, taller than a human, about 8 feet tall or so. Vaguely canine sort of head. They're standing bipedal and upright, although their lower legs bend backwards at the knee and appear to have an extra set of joints. Their upper arms similarly have an extra set of joints, so like 2 elbows as opposed to 1, essentially. All of their hands and feet have 4 clawed digits, and they have a set of wings coming out of their back, making them hexapodal. The creatures also appear to have a variety of fleshy, tentacular protuberances from their face and head, as if all of their something resembling hair is more thick and tendril-like. So some of it comes back off of their head. Some of them have almost coming off like long mustaches or sort of like beards off the jut of their jaw. And it is very finely carved detail to the point where you can see like scale, like something sort of like fish scales covering their body. There's no color. There's no paint. It is merely carving. All of the carvings appear to show groups of these figures clustered in 2 arcing lines, individuals in 2 arcing lines, while taking other individuals and lowering them into some sort of almost like canister. So there are figures being lowered and placed in various stages of canisters, inset often into the ground. Again, in various stages, so you can tell these are like canisters that are then, things put inside and then lowered in the ground. And the people doing it, sort of surrounding them ceremoniously, are always arranged in 2 arcing lines.
Do these canisters look more like sarcophagi or like deep sleep space chambers?
That's a good question. I don't know if you would be able to tell. They look, they're carvings, so there's a certain level of detail. They don't appear to have any like carvings of like control devices or anything on them that you might expect to see on a sleep pod. But similarly, they're relatively unembellished and unadorned. So, they really, it could go either way, I think, in your estimation.
Do these... So you say these figures are standing in like archways?
They're always arranged in lines, and the lines are always like curved.
Would you say the lines are curved similarly to the runes that we saw?
They are indeed.
Fuck. Okay. All right. I think while we are standing here looking at this, 2 things. Are we able to take like a video recording of this etching or like an image of sorts?
Oh yeah, I mean you basically got your body cam on.
Okay, great.
Yeah, probably like a helmet cam. Standard protocol would be to record everything.
Okay, perfect. The other thing is that Billy would like to okay, well, I guess first protocol. She would say, no, she might not. I would like to use my sense magic ability, which is that I can sense whether the supernatural is active in situations where its presence is not obvious. And I can study an object or a location to get a feel for what's at work here. So I would like to just study the etchings on the wall, I think.
Okay.
And that's maybe general surrounding area, but mostly I'm kind of like where we are right now.
Okay. All right, so you can go ahead and spend the intellect related to that ability.
It doesn't have any intellect. It's just the thing I can do.
Okay, perfect. So you're studying and you don't get any sense.
Okay.
I'm going to open a private comm with Eva. Eva, do you recognize anything?
How tall are these? These are statues, right? Are they etching in the...
They're carved into the wall, so the
Okay.
wall, it's like a relief carving, essentially. Yeah, like
Okay,
a frieze or something like that, yeah.
I would have walked a bit closer, assuming I'm still with the group.
Mhm.
So about like maybe, I don't know, 3-4 feet in front of it. And I'm just kind of like looking up at them. And I would reply, yeah. Yeah, they're a little familiar.
Jogging any memories, perhaps? Or more recent?
Just the recent one.
You're feeling all right?
Well,
Relatively.
yes, considering I'm standing in the middle of a space egg in front of these carvings.
Well, yes, I thought
Yes.
we'd move beyond that part.
Relatively, yes.
All right. Remember what we talked about, and I'll close it.
Yep.
I'm just gonna assume everyone stopped at this point. That's over the comms. Just very sassy Marcus, very tired already.
Copy.
I would like to look behind us and just like using eye for detail, just like survey and see if anything has changed.
Okay. And does that have a cost associated with it?
No, it's just a skill.
Okay. Yeah, I think nothing appears to have changed. Everything looks the same.
Okay, noted.
And I want to just... Billy is looking at sort of all of these. And she'll start to walk away from the group, and then she'll stop and like awkwardly turn around and over the comm say, I'm not gonna touch. I would like to get a little closer. So I'm gonna do that now.
Roger.
I'm going to go with you.
I will join as the supervisor.
Okay. And I'll like awkwardly turn around and start walking closer to the wall. I want to take out my journal and look at the drawings that I have made, like the copies that I have made of the symbols that were sent back to us, and take a look to see if any of these people seem to be standing in ways with the canisters near them and any other etchings, and if I can start matching up to see if there are similar layouts between them.
Sure. All right. So why don't we? I'm gonna say this is. Let's say this is a level 5 difficulty.
Okay.
So do you have any particular skills related to like pattern recognition or perception or investigation?
I would say at least perception. I haven't fully gone through them, but I would assume that perception would be a skill based on my past. Perception would be a skill that I have in being able to, or patterns, either one, maybe not necessarily both, but that I'm able to sort of match things up in ways when I've been doing research on this on my own. So
okay,
I
yeah.
feel
So
like one of them.
did you pick? Let me just pull this up.
I didn't pick. The only thing that I put related to my past is literature, which is very broad, because I wasn't sure what specific related to that. I know that it says I'm a superb explorer, which means that's searching, listening, climbing, balancing, and jumping. I don't know if searching would be connected to this.
Is there an assist sort of thing?
There
I
is.
Okay.
Yep.
Because I do have this skill called Decipher.
Oh.
Yeah, which is about languages, but in this case,
it's
I think
a piece
it
of
could
writing
apply.
or code in a language I do not understand.
Yep.
I just have to roll for it.
Yep, that's right. Okay, so for one of your sort of extra skills for Billy, I think something like pattern recognition or something would make sense.
Okay.
As a skill. So that will reduce it from a 5 to a 4. And similarly, Maria, so you'll also be a level 5 challenge, so you can roll to see if you succeed on that, and if you do, it will be an asset.
Okay.
And then I can spend
And then you can spend effort.
Okay. No, I think I'm just gonna roll.
Okay. So let's see Eva's result here first. So you spend the intellect to use the decipher ability.
Okay. I don't think I just have to spend a minute examining it.
Yeah.
And make
I think there's no roll. I think you just do
it's an intellect that I can make an intellect roll of difficulty 3 or higher based on the complexity of the language or code to get the gist of the message.
Okay. So in this case, let's just leave it at a level 3 because you're not really deciphering the message. You're reusing it in a slightly different way.
Yeah.
So because you're using it more for the pattern aspect of it and a general sense of the meaning.
Mm-hmm. All right. There is another one that I don't know if it would apply better. It's called Eager to Learn. You're trained in any task and involves learning something new.
No, I think your decipher works because what you're going to do is you're going to succeed on it, which will give an asset to Billy on her roll. So it's a level 3 challenge.
Okay.
And so that's a 9 or higher.
That's fine.
And you can, I believe, spend effort.
Okay. I'll do that.
Okay.
Remind me how to do that.
Okay. So your first level of effort, if your effort is still just at 1, you can only spend 1 level.
Okay.
So that's 3 points out of your intellect pool.
Okay, but I have an edge of 2, which means I only spend 1?
You only spend 1.
I'm smart.
Yep, so that reduces it from a 3 to a 2, so now you only need to roll 6 or higher.
Cool. Oh, that's a 20.
A.
All right. So that's actually a major effect. So
Hello, I'm smart.
yeah, so that is going to be an asset in this case of 2 for Billy instead of 1. Yay! Thank you, Tall Squall, for the raid. We love that.
Welcome to space.
Welcome, new viewers, to Project VHS, which is an occult horror in space. Our investigators are currently inside this alien object, which if you were here at the end of last week, they're inside in an inverted pyramid and studying a strange alien room at the moment. And we are using the Cipher system from Monty Cook Games. Alright, so Billy, so that's an asset of 2. So you had the skill that, so that will reduce it from a 5 to a 2, a difficulty of 2, because you've got 3 levels of reduction.
Okay.
So that only needs a 6 or higher on your d20 roll.
I should just risk it, I suppose.
If you spend a little level of effort, it'll take it down to a 1.
Okay, you know what? Maybe
it.
What?
Do it.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
you
thought
should
said,
definitely
but
spend
wait.
points.
No, do
No, okay.
it.
So I will go ahead and spend a level of effort. I also have an intellect edge of 2.
So that's only 1 point.
Hey.
There you go.
Hey. Look at this teamwork. That's a 15.
Perfect. All right. So when you're looking at these, they're not necessarily exact because like some of the embellishments aren't necessarily there. But you see patterns reminiscent of both the 9th pattern, so the seal that's on the floor, and the 1st, which is the one that Billy sent.
You
So
mean
the
Natasha?
Yes, Natasha. So the first and
Natasha.
last symbols in the sequence you see represented here.
Okay. Then I would open up comms to everyone as Eva and I are sort of standing there. And I will... God, why is she so weird? I'm just going to point to the 2 up there. And in the comms just say, look. Sorry. I'm so sorry.
I love Billy so
I
much.
love her so much.
I'm just standing there like pointing like wide-eyed, like looking back and forth at the 2.
You want to maybe elaborate on that request?
And like
Doctor?
very, very rapidly, her like hands will fly down and she'll turn around and look at you and say, it's the first and the last symbol that we received back from them and during the communication on the trip.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of resemble those, I guess.
All right, Dan, just dropping
God damn.
hands in the chat. Dan,
Nope. Nope.
Daniel Gaston.
I was about
I'm
to
not
say
doing
that.
anything.
I was about to say that. Mesley's on the same page.
All right, Metzley, go ahead.
My thunder's been stolen.
I'm sorry.
What did he put in chat? I had to turn. It's not working for me.
Alpha and the
Alpha and
Omega.
This is-
Omega.
Being great.
It's above, sound below.
Yeah.
Yep.
He also put
Yep.
that.
I was gonna say that.
That's because Dan and I have similar brains.
Anyway.
So I'm pointing at the. Well, I've turned back around and I'm just looking at you all.
I'm going to those 2 symbols much more closely now. Not
All right, somebody
touching.
talk me through this, please.
Not touching.
I'm going with Eva to the first one.
Pretend I don't know what's going on.
Don't worry about it.
That would make all of us, Marcus. None of us really know what's going on here. I think
Some
that's
of you have more clues than
person.
others. Mainly me. More clue than me.
On the layout on the wall, do these also
Mhm.
happen to line up at the beginning and the end?
Well, so
Or they
there's
kind of-
multiple of these carvings around the room, and you've probably only looked at a handful of them,
Okay.
right? Because the wall, like all of the wall, is covered in
Got
these
it.
like scenes. They're
Yikes.
all somewhat different, but you
Okay.
see both of these symbols represented,
Okay.
but they don't appear, it's not like an alternating pattern. Like sometimes you
Okay.
see the 9th symbol a couple of times in a row, sometimes you see the first.
So over all of the comms, Billy would say, we're looking at a wall that has a variety of different scenes on it. These scenes seem to mimic some of the rune communication that we had with them. And I am currently looking, well, we all, since we're all here, theoretically, are looking at the first symbol that they sent back and the last symbol that they sent back. And according to any number of weirdo occultists who are out there doing things, typically the first and the last of something can be representative of mirrors or inversions or shadows and shifts and changes. It's what happens in the middle that we don't know about.
Okay. So is this some sort of, and forgive my lack of vocabulary, changer or something, some sort of, and takes him a second to fumble for the word, metamorphosis, maybe?
I would say that metamorphosis tends to have positive connotations connected to it. I would not classify this as some sort of metamorphosis.
Yeah, okay. That was just a suggestion. I was more looking
Sorry.
at just the vats.
I think it's more that we're looking at a creation of something. Or the opposite.
Ashes to ashes.
All right, Dr. Flores, that's creepy. I'm just gonna say it.
Well, everything dies, and then we return to what we were when we were created, and then it happens again. So we're looking at a transformation, not a metamorphosis.
There we
Either
are.
a creation or a destruction, or both, because you need one in order to have the other.
Exactly.
So which way round is it? You go, Glitch.
No, you.
We're stuck in an impasse. Hello, welcome.
We
to
can
space.
all hear you spring over the comms. Please, somebody speak up.
Sorry, we have a crime-fighting duo. Sometimes we whisper to each other. Dr. Delgado. Are they... Is this some sort of... And I'll point to the 9th one, because that's the one we saw on the floor, too. Is this representative of some practice? Like I mean, that looks like a coffin. Is this like a mummify situation? Is this something funerary? Are these cultural symbols rather than maybe language?
I don't know. Or if I don't know.
Okay, Dr. Delgado. None of us know right now. What do you think?
Dan, can you briefly describe it one more time for my fuzzy, foggy brain?
The
Not the symbols, the like general like.
carving?
Yes.
Yeah. So they're like scenes, right? So like if you imagine looking at those like scenes painted on the inside of pyramids, right? But those are painted and these are carved, so they've got this three-dimensional aspect to them. And they always, like, there's lots of variations just from what you've looked at. You've already seen, say, half a dozen variations. But they always seem to depict participants of these, for lack of a better term, Martians. We call them Martians, but we know they're not Martians. In two curved lines, right, around something, like surrounding stuff happening in the middle. And there is additional individuals that appear to be sort of being placed in or taken out of these cylinders. And the cylinders are being placed in or taken out of the floor. So you can tell that just because they show like in different stages, right? So like sometimes a cylinder is totally out of the floor, sometimes it's totally in the floor, sometimes it's part way, and the same with the people being in or out of the cylinders.
Just out of interest, do any of them look vaguely like the person from the memory?
No, that was definitely a human person.
Okay, good, because I got real worried for a sec there. I was like,
Yeah,
well...
yeah. These are all these aliens that, for lack of a better word, we'll call Martians.
Can we get a better word, please? Eggians, maybe?
Aegeans.
Again.
Well, people just
Voidians?
call them Martians
Hatchlings.
because you found ruins on Mars that had these like fossil mummy things in them.
Yeah.
The original, the indigenous, people who originally founded Mars. So they are Martians. They found it first.
Yeah, they just don't think that they're actually from Mars. They just happen to be there.
I agree that it seems like some sort of a cultural ritualistic ceremony of some kind. But I don't know. I don't have any frame of reference to even begin to compare it to.
Are you saying this over the comms for
Yes.
everyone?
Yes.
So what if you didn't compare it to anything? What do you think is happening? And she's gonna like look over there and she's gonna look at the symbol on the floor and she's gonna look back, because I think at some point, ooh, that may be us. And she's gonna like point back at the floor.
Yeah. There's that.
So are we the end or the beginning?
You can be both.
It would be great to be neither.
Sorry, that was out of character. I just really like you. I love you guys so much, and that was really great. Marcus definitely didn't laugh at that response.
I have a hypothesis. It's not necessarily so based on symbols we've found, 'cause this isn't really my area of expertise, but I think we're not the beginning or the end. I think they didn't make it to the end, and then they reached out for help. I think they sent us the coordinates to the beginning. And that's where they're from. And Mars was just a step on that path, and this was the next step, and they got stuck.
Is the final step the other side of the universe?
I don't know. It's just a hypothesis, but I'd rather like to think they called for help than anything else that might be going on.
Dr. Delgado, Dr. Lawless, we have this documented, right?
Kind of hold up this tablet that I've been just furiously scribbling on. Yep.
Uh-huh.
Glitch, we've got scans.
Yeah, I've got a 3D readout of the whole chamber, everything we've went through.
Does that show any other reliefs that are variate from this?
It's not picking up the reliefs. There's many exits from this room, though.
Do we want to walk the room, Delgado?
Yeah.
Okay. Left or right?
I think we start at 1 and see if it leads to 2. So left. Left, if that's not where
I
number
was
9
very
was.
confused by that.
Left.
Yeah, well, so even in the couple that you had already examined, there was both 1s and 9s represented, but in no particular order. But you've seen multiple instances of both, and no other symbols.
Okay.
Oh.
In this room.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, now okay. All right. Interesting.
I'm just going to throw this out here, and maybe it's not the most procedurally correct way to move forward, but I say we pick a door and we walk through it, because I don't think any of us know enough to pick the right door.
That is incredibly astute. And she's gonna close her eyes and point.
That's less astute, Billy. And I'm just gonna reach forward and grab the hand that's pointing and just kind of tug it towards an actual door. I assume she was just pointing at a pillar.
I was pointing at, yeah, probably.
So we don't want to walk the room? Is that...
We can walk the room until we get to a door.
Okay.
I think we need to get to the belly of this beast.
I don't like the way you put that, Billy.
Sorry.
Nope, it's fine. That's what you're here for. Marcus goes to scratch his forehead and hits his visor. So,
Right.
Lucky left. And he's just gonna start. Alright, we're moving.
Before Glitch walks away, he's gonna take a few more seconds to look at the figure in the canister. And then catch up.
All right.
Oh no!
Glitch you glitch.
So you pick one of the nearby entrances and go through a corridor that seems to twist and turn before emptying out into another room, much smaller this time. All of the material is similar, so these large stone blocks, but they're not... they're heavily carved, but not with the same relief of figures. It's carved in abstract, sort of geometric patterns that, as you stare at, seem to sort of almost like wrench the eye. Like your perception wants to almost fall into these like heavily engraved geometric carvings. You can feel yourself just like that. You know that lurching sensation when you're like, you half fall asleep on the bus and you snap awake? It's that sort of sensation. And there's a couple of exits also leaving from this room. But there's a wall. There's a large expanse on one side. So one wall that doesn't have any entryways in it, no archways. And that, instead of being flat stone, like it's got stone kind of around the border, but inset into it is a large pane of crystal. And the crystal, as you enter... Billy, can I intrude?
Ah, hell yeah.
All right, who would you like to give an XP to?
Oh gods. Okay.
Someone clip that too, please.
Okay, it's okay. I'm not panicking. It's
We just
totally-
need a compilation of everyone every time they get told to pick an XP for someone else.
I will make this decision right now in this moment as you are asking me. I think I think earlier, Ava, you raised your hand. Eva, that you raised your hand that you needed XP. So I gift to you an XP. Damn.
All right. This is perhaps fitting. So, Billy, as you enter the room, whether you're the first, last, middle, doesn't really matter. But as you enter, you feel this like faint tingling sensation inside, almost as if your skin like itches a little bit. Not overwhelmingly so, but you can't quite scratch it, and then it fades, it goes away. But as you enter the room, as your feet cross the threshold, this crystal panel, which is just a dark, dead, smoky gray color, starts to swirl and light up with an inner glow and come to life. And it begins tracing an abstract pattern on it, very intricate. You see geometric shapes and carvings and things that twist and turn and seem to bend into themselves in more than 3 dimensions if you could perceive it, but you can't. You have this feeling like you can't quite see everything that is being displayed to you, like your senses are a bit limited, but you get almost faint ghostly traces of this extra information, but you can't quite make it out. And you just have this like pit of sort of sadness that sort of emanates, spreading out from your stomach while you're staring at this pattern. And here and there through it, you do see flashes of these symbols, of these 9 symbols that sort of appear through it. Eva, you recognize this panel, at least in style, because there were similar panels in the ruins on Mars that also had been dead and not operational, no apparent power source, except that last day. When they had activated, when you had discovered something, some piece of equipment turned on, you had access to information that you never thought you had, but the rest of that day is dark, and you know that that day is the day that the accident happened.
Fuck. No one else sees this. Is that accurate?
No, everyone sees this pattern.
Okay.
Like
okay.
they see the crystal turn on, they see the pattern.
Got it.
The
Okay.
one thing that Billy sees that no one else does is this ghostly hint of sort
Got
of
it.
non-three-dimensional information. Everyone else is just seeing the pictorial representation, and no one else feels the sensation, this like sort of sad sensation that Billy does.
Oh.
I mean, Eva might have her own feelings about it tied in, but as part of the shift, like you feel this independently of any sort of emotional connection.
I think in response to that, if we're moving, Billy would like stop immediately, even if someone were behind her, and just kind of stare. And she's really teetering back and forth between mitigating this sorrow that she feels while also trying to just keep looking to see if she can see what she can't.
Eva, almost mirroring that, does also stop.
Yeah, and so it's this like just like really complex geometric patterns, lots of like lines, things that are sort of maze-like that appear, and then interspersed periodically these symbols, and the symbols repeat in what I'll call a snake pattern, because they go from the ninth symbol to the first symbol, and then back through the sequence to the ninth symbol, and then back. Like in this looping pattern.
Oh.
Doctors?
I'm gonna like reach. I don't even know if we have to like touch anything, but for the sake of this, I'm gonna say we do. Eva reaches up and she's like visibly trembling, and she's gonna send a private message to Billy and say, I recognize this.
Billy will send a message back saying, I don't. And then it'll be quiet for a second, and then she'll say, do you also feel that? Do you see what's behind them?
What are you talking about?
And she'll cut the comms, and she will just like start walking forward, breaking protocol, surprising no one. And she'll walk forward and she'll try to get closer to this screen as she just is like, not necessarily, well, she's probably like a little overwhelmed right now with trying to balance everything that's happening.
If
Follow her.
if I see Billy moving forward towards the spooky glass with symbols, and then Dr. Delgado going too, I'm gonna follow.
I also
Okay.
want to go up to it.
Marcus is keeping
no.
a nice perimeter from the
No.
spooky glass.
Up like touch like, but I want to go up like with a scanner. Like get close to scan it.
Marcus is hanging back with Dr. Flores. If anybody's hanging back else.
I'll
Yeah,
hang
so-
back, yeah.
Uh-oh.
So Glitch, with your scanner, you're picking up the expected, like there's electromagnetic radiation coming off of this because it's has some sort of charge and it's active, and let's see, to get more sort of information, let's call this a level 5 scanning challenge. Your equipment is an asset, so that will reduce it from a 5 to a 3 because it's a second level asset that you're scanning.
Okay.
And in this case, you have some special things related to electricity.
I do.
I'm going to give you a situational bonus here of 1
Okay.
to reduce that difficulty again to a 2.
Okay.
And would you like to spend any effort in this task?
I have an ability called Scan. Would that be something I should use right now?
Yeah, spend that.
What is that? I have abilities, y'all. I forgot. I can reveal its level, and I learn facts that you feel are pertinent about the matter and energy in that area.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
So I will do that. It costs 2 intellect.
Yeah, so you just spend 2 intellect on that, and you scan the device through the interference, and it is definitely drawing power from somewhere in the wall, and otherwise it is kind of similar to an LCD display in that, you know, it's crystal and it's pumping light through it and it's creating the pictures, but there's an information feed along that power source that is providing what it is showing, but you do get this faint hint of very low frequency signal that is emanating out of the device, like emanating out of the panel, but it's not related to the signal in terms of displaying pictures that you would be able to see. You haven't quite seen anything like it before.
In general, I think this is a billboard, and it's just telling us whatever these symbols have been trying to tell us. But it's also... I'm gonna look at everyone. Obviously, Billy looks off, but Billy kind of always looks a little about things. So I don't know if he'd pick up on that. It's also doing something else that I'm really not sure what that is. So no touching.
Yeah, see, during this, unfortunately, I'm sorry to disappoint, but
Do it.
while that's happening, Billy's literally like not aware that there are other people in the room, and she's walking right up and she's like putting a finger where she thinks she sees a ghosty other dimension piece there.
Can't
Yeah.
senpai. Since I followed her, if I see her reaching for it, can I stop her?
You could. I think
Okay.
that Billy's not necessarily reaching for the screen. She's reaching sort of in the space in front of it.
Okay.
If I see
I'm
her
trying to,
reaching
like...
for it, can I do something else and put my hand on her shoulder?
Yeah, I would say like it sort of probably looks like Billy's sort of just moving her hand through space, like kind of in front of her, probably like, you know, a foot away from the crystal panel. And you don't feel any sensation, Billy. Your hand like moves through it, but it doesn't seem to disturb it at all.
Weird. As soon as she feels the hand on her shoulder, though, you'll see her sort of like come back to like consciousness, and she'll pull her hand back.
I don't know if Billy cut all our comms. Can I still do a private comm link to Billy?
Yeah.
2 ships.
And you'll see her like aggressively nod. 2 ships. 2 ships.
And making sure this is on the other, the private channel, I'm going to say. If there's a weird thing that you want to touch, we touch it together. Okay?
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll figure it out.
2 ships.
2 ships.
And Billy will stop and turn around and look at the group and then kind of like turn her head to the side. Glitch, did you say it was doing something else that you don't know?
Before I answer that, Dan, I have a question.
Yes.
Does this device, based on the scan I did, seem like there might be something else it does that it's not doing, or like something isn't at full power, or
Related question.
Yep.
Once you're done with that.
Okay, sure. I think there's no evidence of that.
okay.
Yeah. It's displaying a picture, and it's emitting some other frequency as well, this like very low frequency. And that's all it appears to be doing, and there's no evidence that it should be doing something else.
Yeah, it's admitting a small frequency, like it's small. This is a minuscule little frequency, like a it's like a single cell phone call in a massive network. That's how minuscule this seems, but there is definitely something else in there.
Right, but one call can be a big thing.
Anyone getting a cell phone call?
Well, kind of always, but in this particular circumstance, it's like there's something behind and also in front of and through this that I can kind of, it's, can you not, she's like gonna very carefully like point like right here. Do you see anything? They're like echoes.
No, Billy.
And Billy, if you looked at your camera footage that's recording, you don't see it on the camera footage.
That's fucked up.
It's your bugs, man. It's your bugs.
I suppose it's possible that for some reason you're able to read the signal that none of the rest of us can. Maybe it's like not to compare you to a dog, but like a dog whistle, and you can hear it and we can't, or see it, I guess, in this case.
My question, Dan.
Yes.
So it's obviously similar to what I've seen before in large scope.
Mm-hmm.
So we can see we can see like shapes and patterns, but not specifically these like 9 symbols that we've been seeing before, correct? Or we just see
you
a
see
gray...
the 9 symbols.
Okay.
You see the 9 symbols. You see like various abstract geometric shapes and patterns, but you do distinctly see these 9 symbols repeated.
Okay.
The only thing you don't see that Billy sees is this like weird ghosting sort of effect.
Gotcha. Okay. Is specifically what is seen on here similar to what I saw on Mars, or did I see different things?
Probably not identical, but it
Okay.
seems it is triggering this memory
Okay.
of being very, very similar.
Okay. Cool.
You specifically have a memory of those 9 symbols, like starting at 9, 8, 7, 6, 1,
Okay.
and then nothing. But here it's going 9 through 1, and then back up to 9 and back down, and it's like repeating like back and forth.
Clarifying question. When you say nothing, so like nothing?
And
Like
and
that's
then
when
it's-
nothing?
And then it's black.
Oh, oh boy. Okay. Well, when that piece of the puzzle clicks into place, yeah, she's just gonna stare at the wall and just stare at the wall. She's just gonna stare at it for a long time.
Mesley,
Hello.
would you like an XP?
Void howdy, would I?
And who would you like to give one to?
Marcus.
Okay. You just hear a faint liar. It does not appear to have come over the comm system.
Does that come directly after anyone says anything, or is it just an isolated?
Yeah, it seems to just... Yeah.
Okay. Noted.
The intrusion threshold has elevated.
Dan, what does that mean?
I don't know what that
Dan,
means.
what does that
but,
mean?
Yep.
Intrusions will now trigger on rolls of 1 or 2.
Woo! Sorry.
So good.
Sorry.
I would like to do something.
Okay.
Now knowing that someone can pick up this weird frequency, I want to sort of turn back to the wall and start like trying to adjust my scanners, do something to maybe see if I can figure out how to make it so I can read the frequency, and I start messing with the technology on my end.
Okay.
And I would like to spend an XP to do a player intrusion.
Okay. Excellent.
And I would like to use the advantageous malfunction-ish sort of
Yep.
intrusion.
Okay.
And Glitch is getting a little typing faster and faster and pushing buttons and getting a little anxious in his movements, and his fingers start to spark a little bit, and that spark grows kind of like a static, and suddenly shoots out of his hands and hits the machine on the wall and breaks it.
Yeah. Yeah, so this discharge as you go just arcs out and like hits in the middle of this panel, and then spiderwebs across the whole thing, and the glass cracks and shatters, and like then falls out of the panel that it was in set to on the ground, and like shatters into a million pieces that skitter all across the floor.
The crystal wall is broken.
Yes.
Okay.
And did we see that this came from Glitch?
Yeah, I think so. Like, Glitch was clearly working
Got it.
on something that he was doing on this device in his hands, and then the electrical discharge arced from his hands / the device to the wall panel. So you can interpret that how you will as a character.
I think
But-
as the wall. Oh, go ahead. Go.
No. Go.
Go.
You go.
Okay.
Oh, and I should note, Billy, that sense of like sadness, as soon as this device shattered, the crystal panel on the wall, that goes away.
As soon as it shatters, like there's like a heartbeat later, and then Eva just kind of like her legs buckle, and she's just like down on her knees, staring at where the crystal was.
Dr. Delgado?
She just kind of like weakly lifts an arm and like waves it towards you in a like just barely.
I'm
does
gonna
acknowledge you.
if with her consent, I'm just gonna take her arm and just help her up. Not leaving you behind, remember?
I'll open comms to everybody and let everyone know. I saw those on Mars. And when I saw them on Mars, those numbers didn't cycle. It was a countdown. And when it got, something happened after it got down to 1. I don't know what happened. I mean, we can guess what happened.
Well, it doesn't seem to have happened here.
Question is why.
I don't think we've gotten to 1 yet.
Maybe
Or
that's
0.
what they are. Maybe that's where they asked for help.
I don't
If
think we're
it's-
that lucky.
Maybe it's just stuck in a loop.
We're all stuck in loops. Did anybody else feel that?
Feel what, Billy?
She's gonna just narrow her eyes at you just for the briefest of seconds.
And I do the eyebrow thing at you for the briefest of seconds.
Doctor.
Doctor.
I know that we all, have some stuff here and here, but don't make me laugh, Taryn. but did anybody else feel that endless sadness, that sorrow when they walked in here that is now gone?
I'm gonna go with no.
Oh,
Intrusive thoughts, perhaps? Dr. Lawless? External or internal, do you think?
I don't know. There's something here that we can't see. There was something on there. It's like we've never been trained to see it.
I'm gonna pop in a private comm with the doctors.
Doctor, doctor,
Do we have a
doctor,
group
doctor,
chat?
and doctor,
We have
and
a
I'm gonna
group chat. Okay.
Yep. And I'm gonna say,
Doctor comms.
it's the doctor channel. Do we not at all think that this might be in some way related to those, little nanites that are just kind of hanging out in Billy's body?
My hypothesis, exactly? Yes. I think probably yes. But it is difficult to tell because Billy is the most receptive regardless. But probably.
So they're probably, I don't know, maybe you're tapped into the whatever, the hive mind. Maybe it's like a
network.
hive mind or a network.
Hive mind part 2.
I
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Do you both feel yourselves still?
turn off the comm.
Oh.
Okay.
You know it's awkward when you guys go silent for a bit.
But we can still see you talking through your helmets.
And we just sort of just accept it. So
I'll
if
open
you'd
a
like to
group-
share with the class.
I'll open a group chat with just Kane and Marcus.
Oh no.
Oh.
You know, we notice it when you do it with other people too, and that's okay.
I would like to raise the notion that I have yet to do it with anybody outside of the group. And that is still a group chat. I'm not responding in a silent or a private comm.
Dan Hart side note, because I forgot to ask. Was the liar in a particular voice that I recognized, or you're muted? Or you're not. I'm a liar.
That's a good question.
Goody.
It was.
Oh, I'm not muted.
It's all right. We'd be able to read it on your captioner anyway.
That was amazing.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Hey, Pulsar / Smokebeard. You know what to do.
It was in the voice of the other doctor
Of course.
who you replaced.
Okay. That's fine.
Everyone's external audio, that's listening to the space around you, right? Because it's not really vacuum. It's just a atmosphere that you can't breathe. And it probably distorts sound, but compensated for it, you hear a skittering sound, like metal on stone. Coming from several directions and headed towards you.
Set her up.
Yep.
How far were Marcus and I theoretically from where the crystal shattered?
Probably not very big. You tell me. Your fictional positioning in the room is totally up to you.
Okay.
This room is not large. It's let's say classroom sized.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm going to
no
do
furniture.
something. Totally protocol. I'm just going to scoop up a bit of the crystal.
Okay. I'm supposing you want to put it in some sort of sampling, tube or something.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
the stuff for it in the med
Yeah,
whatever
your
kit.
your med kit would have test tubes and things like that you could use to scoop it in.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cool. I'll do that.
Do I notice her doing this at all?
It's probably not very.
I am not being subtle. I sling the pack off and I'm getting stuff out to take samples.
And you're all in bulky spacesuits, so it's hard to do anything subtle.
Interesting.
Throughout all of this, Glitch has just been staring at his hands and the floor and continues to do so even when the skittering starts.
Mm-hmm. So as the sound gets closer, swarming out of various of the entryways in this room, very small, almost insectile sort of things come out, but they're all about the size of, like, individually they're the size of, like a baseball. And they've multiple legs, but they don't bear any particular resemblance to any, like, earth organism. They're just multi-limbed, spherical, and they've got an array of small, like, little tentacles waving off of their back, and they, like, just scurry forward into the room and sort of amass around the shattered crystal, and their, like, limbs and tentacles start, like, brushing it up, and you can hear your external camera or mics sort of pick up, like, a whirring sound as they're sort of, like, vacuuming up the crystal into their bodies, and they're just, like, swarming over it and cleaning up. Some of them do start to, like, creep over, like, your boots and things like that. Does anybody react to them as they are, like, clambering over you a little bit, and, like, their tentacles waving around and, like, touching your suit and probing and investigating?
I stand very still.
I lean down. I don't move my feet. I lean down just a little bit, and you all can hear this little, "Oh, hi."
Oh.
Do you, because you would have the ability to turn on, like, an external speaker?
Oh, then absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Just fucking Billy.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yo, we're in space. We gotta.
When the, like, "oh, hi" comes out, they all sort of pause, and their tentacles, like, wave and seem to, like, orient towards Billy.
I mean,
And then they go back to their work. And as you watch, within, like, a few minutes, they sort of have all of the crystal, like, for lack of a better word, eaten. As they sort of, like, vacuum it up. The larger pieces, like, they swarm over top of it until there's nothing left. And then they crawl up the wall and begin laying down a new crystal panel.
So Marcus is gonna do a thing
Yes.
and pull out a
Yes.
knife from, like, it was like one of his, like, knife holders on the side of his spacesuit legs, and just, like, throw it and pin one to the wall.
All right. So this will be
Engage
dead.
the enemy.
probably, like, an individual one of these is not a significant challenge, but it's a small target.
Yeah.
So I'm only going to set it at, like, a 3. I don't know if you're going to need to roll, because I think with all your bonuses and stuff, you're probably skilled enough.
Yeah. It sort of fits in with his weapons training, and
Yeah, so what does your...
so I'm training
So-
all weapon types, and
Yeah.
then I've got a
and
thing.
then a light weapon, you get a bonus, so that's
Mhm.
2 right there.
Yeah. So,
So if you spend a level of speed effort,
and I
It will
have
reduce to 0.
edge of 2 in that, so it's only 1 point.
so if you spend 1 point of speed, it'll be 0, and you just,
Yeah.
like, you bullseye.
Yeah,
as this
I actually am
knife-
going to do it on one that hasn't gotten to the wall yet. So,
Yep. Okay. So it pins it to the ground. Well, actually, it probably, like, hits it, and, like, the knife doesn't, because it's stone, so it doesn't go in. But, like, it hits it, and then it, like, clatters across the floor, and the thing is like impaled on the blade, right?
Mm-hmm.
And its legs are twitching and its tentacles are scurrying. And a bunch of the ones that are up on the wall scurry down and swarm over it. And when they finish, there is nothing left, including your knife ends up getting like completely devoured.
I brought plenty of those, so that's all right. But that was informative.
Quietly, Eva will open comms and say, Marcus, the fuck?
Just curious. Billy's not the only one who gets to touch things.
There.
As they're like swarming over the wall and like laying down the new crystal, Metzley, you swear for the briefest of moments that you see the doctor's face in that pattern. And that's where we're going to end for the night.
No! Oh
So
my
good. So
God!
Sorry, I was looking at chat. Marcus, what do you have? A knife!
No.
Marcus has lots of knives.
Oh man. Oh man.
All right, so let's go around and get everyone's favorite moments and any advancements on their character arcs. So we'll do the reverse order, and we'll start with Saren.
All right, so yeah, favorite moments and character arc stuff. Favorite moment tonight was just I don't know. Selfishly, I really liked giving the protocol speech at the beginning before we all went in. I really enjoyed doing the security officer thing, like playing that role. I have a lot of fun with being the one person who's like, hey,
Who knows
why
the
don't we
rules
not
and
die?
regulations?
Yeah, the protocol guy. And then I don't think I really advanced any of my secondary arc, which is like friends and romance. Friendship. But defend the mission. Yeah, I mean, being very, very staunch on how we handle things.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, absolutely.
So I think that one, yeah.
Yep, so you can take advancement on that.
Did we get any XP like in general or?
Oh, yes, yeah. Everyone will get 2 XP for the like general discovery.
Cool.
All right. Maria.
Hello. I really liked this episode a lot. There were so many good things that happened in this episode. A lot. Mine's a bit broad, but it was all of your intrusions. I loved all of them. I loved that you were just in and that you were so polite about just destroying us, and I loved it so much. Character arcs. Recovering from trauma / defeating inner demons type thing. I would count 6 side scenes over the past 48 hours. And at least in 2 of those, particularly with Natasha and Billy, and a little bit with everybody, but specifically Natasha, there was a bit of camaraderie found, which I think helped start that, like, hey, I'm not alone in all of this chaos and weirdness.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And if I didn't uncover a secret, then I am deaf and blind.
Yeah, no, so definitely for your like recovery arc, I think 2 XP for advancing that in your side scenes sounds
Yeah.
good. And definitely yes, your uncover a secret I think is advanced.
Okay, cool. And it's 2 for that as well, right?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, it's definitely like I think it's the idea that because you didn't ever remember what happened, so like these bits of memory coming back are like filling in the holes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all my business.
Okay. Quinn.
Hello. Favorite moment? Glitch. Looking at them pods. You a Tide Pod Glitch? We'll find out. Next time on Dragon Ball Z, probably. Arcs. Yes. And yes, I think. I should say what they are out loud for the class. Defeat a foe, the way we talked about it, I think so, and also some literal manifestations of that. I think just the fact that I'm here might do it, honestly.
I mean, the good thing about having like Explorer as an arc is like every time you advance the story, you're pretty much
like I'm still
accumulating
alive,
those
so
arcs,
and then transformation, seeing those bots and what they can do.
Yeah. And also probably, you don't know for sure,
but
Billy saw extra stuff and she got those nanites in her.
That's true.
So
it's very true.
So yeah. So I think those are all pieces of the puzzle that transformation might apply to.
Cool.
Okay.
I'm fine.
So yeah, so that's like 4 XP for advancing those 2 arcs.
Yay.
Moving right along to Emma.
Yes, the one with the nanites. Hello, I am Emma, and you can find me at MK Hansen on Twitter. So my favorite moment this evening. Thought a lot about this, and truly, the moment when Dan leaned into the mic and said, "Liar," that was so good. Shit. And then to see Quinn's oh fuck. It was brilliant. It was some goddamn good storytelling. So that I think was my favorite moment. But the other moment that I actually did really like was the moment when Natasha over the comms, when Natasha and Billy had that moment. That was nice.
Mm-hmm.
That was a little softness amidst this trauma. Regarding my arcs, so my first arc is explore, specifically meaning to engage and touch the things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't necessarily think so tonight, actually. I mean, I was there, I engaged, but I was doing really just I was analyzing stuff. I almost did, and then I didn't.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. It's because there was I don't think just yet. She had walked onto that rune and see if it was take her into a pod, but alas. And then for the second, uncover a secret, and I've switched from growth to recover.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I don't know. I don't think that either. I don't think that was furthered. Seeing that there was something else there and understanding that I now have some kind of connection with whatever is here, but since I don't know what it was that I wasn't seeing, I guess.
Well, I mean, these are always incremental, right?
Yeah.
Those little bits of things add up. It doesn't have to be the complete discovery, because that's what the climax is for.
I know. My poor little analytical brain is well.
So I think take 2 for that.
Okay. I do also know I don't necessarily need to take it, but from side scenes that I had specifically with Natasha, there was absolutely there was movement forward on recover in a very big way.
Okay.
So if it's
Yep, no,
possible,
that's
okay.
that's valid. Like side
Okay.
scenes don't always advance your arcs, but they
Okay.
often do. So
Okay. Yeah, Billy did a big thing. So I think that's that.
okay, perfect. All right, Val.
Hi, I'm Val. I'm the Nerdy Nifsar on Twitter. I have a lot of emotions right now. Space. Space is great. Favorite moment? Okay, it's part selfish because it was like the memory and it was happening and I was trying so hard not to react because I was being Natasha, but inside I was doing this. And it was so good with the incense and during the markings and the hair and everything, and just every intrusion and every like little piece you found out about people, it was so good. I loved all of it, and everyone's reactions to it were just an absolute joy to watch. And I loved just like again the soft moments. There's really nice in this egg. I was about to say eggplant hellscape, but egg hellscape. In terms of
Eggplant hellscape is what they call people's DMs.
Oh no, I don't remember anything anymore. What happened in this last 3 hours apart from eggplant hellscape?
Daniel.
Daniel Gaston.
Look, I'm slaying down the truth.
True. In terms of advancements, mysterious background, maybe with the memory.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what that was.
Yay! Oh, that's good. Real great. I loved it so much. Kate is having a moment. And in terms of growth, yeah, I had, and there were a couple of side scenes. There were 3 side scenes basically with Ava, with Glitch, and Billy that ended up like that Spider-Man meme where they were pointing at each other and you're like, I think especially it was just in terms of opening up, she opened up a lot to Billy, and she opened up to Ava and Glitch, and that manifested in a way that I was not expecting. Natasha got protective of Billy, Ava, and Glitch when they were upset. She was like, when Glitch had his little lightning thing, I was like, Natasha is shuffling closer and looking at everybody like, say something, I dare you. No one mentioned the lightning boy's hands. You were in an eggplant hellscape. Look away. So that manifested in I don't know if it would count as growth. It was just something that I wasn't aware was part of her character that came out.
Yeah, no, that seems reasonable to me. So that would be 2 XP for each of those, so that's 4.
I love this game so much. That's me out.
Perfect. All right, and Anders.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Sorry. Favorite moments. Marcus giving us this protocol, say if you're gonna do something, don't touch anything speech, and then throwing a knife at a spider was very good. Very good. I also selfishly really enjoyed Emma's reaction to me just looking at a thing just for a few seconds. That's all.
It was good.
That was enjoyable to watch everyone react to that. Character arc stuff. Growth I kind of had defined as first times and like first times he does things. And in a side scene with Billy, he got his first toy because Billy gave him a rubber ducky. And he's never had a toy before. So I was thinking
sweet.
that was growth.
Yeah, you need 2 XP for that. And Glitch needs a hug.
And then mysterious background. I mean, he didn't learn anything new about it. It happened. He was a glitch for a second there. And he told some of his backstory to Kane. They shared some secrets, but he didn't learn anything new in
Hasn't
that
had
sense.
any new information. Yeah.
No. So just the two, I think.
Okay. Good. All right. Well, I mean, my favorite moment was...
Sorry to interrupt. My friendship thing, if we're including side scenes, the one with Billy was very much a friendship
Yeah, absolutely.
thing. They definitely bought... Billy brought him coffee! It was very touching.
But also Kane and Glitch and Eva were skateboarding together. I just want to point that out to everybody. That happened in space.
In a tiny room.
In a very small space.
You wore your PPE, right?
Oh
No.
And Kay didn't have a birthday, and now Glitch gave her a birthday, and they share a birthday, and Ava's gonna make flan and have a birthday party.
If we don't die in 2
If
days.
we don't die in the egg, everybody, there's a birthday party waiting for us back on the spaceship.
It's coming up in like 2 days.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh no.
We're gonna celebrate.
I don't like
We're
that.
gonna celebrate in the hellscape.
Oh, it's gonna be a lot of eggplant and flan.
December 19th. It's my
December 19th.
birthday.
Yeah. Then that picture came out, and I was like, oh no. But also,
Sorry. Please go, Dan. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just
No,
I was like,
that's okay.
if we're doing science scenes, that was a very important moment.
Absolutely. My favorite moment was all of your reactions at various points. Just the looks on your faces and flailing and all of that was perfect. Yeah, Emma doing this, like, please bring me more creepy horror trauma. Lay it on. So yeah, that was that. So in terms of things we have to announce, I'm here on Thursdays. That's my thing right now. Let's see, who do we got on Sundays? We got some of you on Sundays, right?
Urban Shadows.
Shadows.
I think that's the big thing right now.
Yep.
7 p.m. Yeah, we're kicking off. We kicked off season 2 last week, and
it's already going. It's already going, you guys. It is catapulted itself forward in ways that are just ridiculous.
Nice.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Let's see. Monday we have Grim Femmes.
Yeah, sorry, that was really challenging. Yes. Grim Femmes, Mondays, 6 p.m. Eastern. And everyone except Taryn and Dan are in it from here. And it's pretty great. Please join us. The first session was beautiful and wonderful. You all amaze me. This is going to be traumatic and wonderful.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch the whole thing, but I watched most of the first of it, and fantastic.
Thank you.
Everything about it, great. It's fantastic. And Tuesday we have Velvet Soiree.
We do have a Velvet Soiree. Andrews is in that one.
Bad things are happening. Don't touch the skeleton wand. Don't do it. But they did.
There may have been some things happened. We hit session 3, and a lot of things popped off really, 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 really quickly. There's a lot you should watch.
There's a lich, y'all.
I know, spoilers. We don't know if she lived. We're not that far yet. Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Yeah, I do the DM things, and it's very different.
Perfect. All right, so that's pretty much it for
Vows
what
and
we've
something.
got going on here. Oh, sorry, what?
Vows in a thing.
Oh, yes, Val, you've also got
Court of the Shadowfae.
Court on
Court of the Shadowfae?
Friday, but I'm
Yes,
too
that's
British to ever do it. So I'm like, no, don't never interrupt. You
Don't
always
worry.
wait until the end of things to
Me
interrupt.
and my big Latinx mouth will get in the way for you.
That's right.
Silently high-fiving you from across the ocean.
Yeah.
I'm in courts. I'm in the court thing. Basically, we're in the court of the Shadow Fae. Things are wild. And we had Goblin Law and Order and Phoenix Wright. It was a beautiful moment. And I have never been more delighted and confused in my entire life. And it was so great.
Perfect. Excellent. And I guess the only other major one would be, Emma, you also have Dragon Heisters Tuesdays on Dice Priority.
Yeah, and just real quickly about that. So we do have Dragon Heisters on Tuesdays. We will be taking a bit of a break soon. So swing by, check out the shenanigans. We've been unfortunately focusing on plot lately. So
How dare.
How dare.
sorry.
How dare you?
How god
I'm sorry.
dare.
You know what? I hate it too. So
Yeah. All plot, no sex work.
yeah, it
How
just
dare.
what is this? It's
How dare.
terrible. No one wants to watch that.
That's not the Dragon Heisters I know.
That's
Right.
right.
I have
all
one
right.
other thing.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's just a side project that I've started with my husband James. We are doing we have a website. It's called Goblin Society Games or Goblin Society. Also at Society Goblins on Twitter. We're releasing a bunch of magic items for D&D 5e that will hopefully get published someday eventually. We're gonna have a bunch of new content starting in the new year. So if you like magic items that are all unique and cool and homebrewy like, just check it out. It's real fun and it's all free for you to use. Da-da-da-da.
Perfect. And Anders, you have your itch.io.
Yeah, I make games. Some are really sad, emotional, intimate vulnerability games, and others are really dumb games where you mess with each other while playing as NPCs. And apparently I'm also writing a game about politics and sociology, but it's not.
Sweet.
It's just a Google Doc right now, so that's gonna be a little while.
Can confirm the 2 games that Anders has written are amazing in different ways. That shopkeeper game is fucking hilarious.
It's so dumb.
I love it so much.
It's so dumb. That was the point, though.
But also Quinn writes games.
Quinn does write games. I have another one is actually coming out tomorrow. I have another game coming out tomorrow. It's called Catharsis and shit. So you can guess what that's about. But I just I'm not gonna date the video. I already dated the video. On Monday, I released my first horror game called Knock, where you are playing a game with some sort of beast you don't really know about, but you have to play it. And then my other game, Caustic Jerk, it's a weird, dark little thing where you're in a lucite box dangling above a sea of acid, with or without people. And it's inspired by the Hypnic Jerk, and they're both really weird, and you should maybe look at them probably. That would be nice.
Perfect. All right. Did we miss anything in our busy schedules of production?
Doing so many things.
I know. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us, and tune in next week for episode 4, and we'll see what the title of that episode is going to be. So, bye everyone, and see you next week.